Hi guys, welcome back. Today we're talking about 4 outdated UX design trends that I do not think we will see in 2024. In fact, I'm hoping they will stay in 2023, and let's not bring this with us into the future. So with that, let's jump in. First thing is excessive skeuomorphism. Skeuomorphism is a design concept where digital elements mimic real-world objects and items to make them feel more real, more relatable, more familiar and intuitive to the user. So I'll put in some examples of what I mean. Let's say you're looking at an interface and you're not exactly sure what some of the icons mean. They want to use things that are realistic to our day-to-day life, help guide you of what to do. So like weather apps, you can usually see there's like a sun and a cloud. Book apps usually are like shelves or like closed books. Calendars are usually like a little snippet of a calendar. Like, you guys know what I mean. Skeuomorphism is good, but I think there's been too much of it. Especially, it was very popular when a lot of new apps were coming out, iPhones, Androids, tablets. Like, you saw a lot of that because it was kind of a new way of designing. But now I think there's been a little bit too much of it. So now I think it's kind of course correcting itself. So I know it was aimed to kind of bridge the gap between physical and digital, but the parts of it that are overused now are things where there's too heavy of a gradient, too heavy of a shadow, too many textures, way too 3D feeling. That's when it really just kind of dates your design, and you can tell like, okay, this was not done in the past couple of years. Like, it just feels older. And when you kind of have those outdated designs, it lessens the amount of trust and safety I'd say users have. Like, if you see something that's a little bit outdated, it's going to make you question, like, are there other aspects of this website or this app that are also outdated? Like, if I put in my payment information, is that going to be secure? So things like that. You know, current trends are more focusing on, you can still have some skeuomorphism that looks like physical items. I still think that's helpful, but just kind of pulling it back a little, having it be a little bit more cleaner, not as heavy feeling. I think that's really the way to do it, and just say goodbye to some of those heavier 3D gradient, overabundance of realistic textures and tones and shadows. Like, no more of that. It can just really date your design and your website, whatever it is that you're working on. Other things that can really make your work feel outdated are intrusive pop-ups. So, and I don't mean like spammy pop-ups, of course, that's horrible. I'm talking more like overusing pop-ups that interfere in whatever the user's trying to accomplish. So, I mean, guys, how many times have we landed on a blog, website, news article, and then you're starting to read whatever it is, and then immediately you get hit with a pop-up that spans the entire page, and it's asking you to sign up for the newsletter right then and there. That stuff is so annoying, guys. I know a few years back, Google introduced a penalty on intrusive ads and pop-ups like that on mobile. And I don't know if that applies to web. It should apply to web, but you would think that would kind of deter people, but I still see it pretty prevalently. There are other ways to get users to sign up for your newsletter rather than cutting them off right at the beginning. I also see this a lot, guys, on like cooking recipes, like websites. It seems small, but these are the kind of things that leave impressions on your user, and you don't want to turn them off right as they're getting to the meat, right as they're getting into whatever they're trying to accomplish. Before I get too far down the road here, I wanted to hop in here and just quickly talk about Springboard. So you guys know I talk about Springboard all the time. I ride or die for Springboard just because I went through the bootcamp, specifically the UI UX design program. So I know firsthand what they offer and how I've gotten where I'm at because of the bootcamp that I took. So the next cohort is January 8th. That's when it starts. Time right now to sign up for the next cohort. The link down in my description box will take you to the website, give you all the information. Use code STEPHANIEM to get $1,000 off any of the programs. They also have the job guarantee, guys. Somebody has to be very confident in what they're offering to offer you a job guarantee. So you have to meet certain requirements, but if you hit those markers, if you hit all those metrics, and at a certain length of time, for me it was about 6 months of applying, and you do not get a job, then you do not have to pay anything back. They have so much skin in the game, guys. That should be a testament of what they're offering. They know what they're offering is good. These kinds of things that I'm talking about, these outdated trends, these are the kind of things that I learned in boot camp and I see every day in my job. Like, these are the kinds of things that I've practiced and that I know what to do and what not to do. And these are the kind of things that really just help you stand out in this really competitive job market. So if you guys are interested, like I mentioned, link is down in the description box. Yeah, check it out. Start off 2024 in the way that you always wanted to. If UX design is it for you, then I'd highly recommend Springboard. Next one is an oldie but a goodie that I still see today. Hamburger menus, guys, hamburger menus. Hamburger menus were so popular, like they had a chokehold on design. And they're still good, but I think people are finding better and more intuitive ways to display navigation, specifically on web. Hamburger menus still work really well for mobile, just because you have a limited screen, like you don't have as much real estate, so you need to compress navigation header menu items somewhere. So they're still great there. I think where they become a problem with web is that you have a bigger screen. You are hiding navigation items and having the user click on them to discover more. It might not sound like a big deal, but it's one more click to discover what you guys are offering. So if you can reduce that click, reduce one more interaction, it's just one more step that the user doesn't have to take and can find out faster. You know, when everything is hidden behind a hamburger screen, it kind of makes your navigation kind of ambiguous. Again, it seems small, but you have such limited time to capture somebody's attention. You don't want to waste it having them trying to discover what you're offering. So it's, like I mentioned, better for mobile. Keep it in mobile. Don't so much bring it to web. And speaking of web, the next trend that I do not see making it, hopefully, to 2024 is non-responsive design. So we're just at the point now where so much of our life is done mobile. We're always on our phones constantly. My phone is right over here. We're always on our phones constantly. So having a website that does not adapt to mobile is just, it can't be a thing anymore. Like, that's just not the way that we live life now. It's just not the expectation. Bare minimum expectation, people are wanting to have things adapt to whatever screen size, whatever device. So if your site design does not do that, then that's already putting you behind and you look outdated. Like, you don't look like you're with the times. And like I said, most of us are on our phones. It also impacts your SEO. Google prioritizes, like in their search results, websites that are mobile friendly. So if you even want to show up in SEO and improve your engagement and all of that, that's also something you have to think about. Like, you don't want it to cut into the business side as well. Like I mentioned, these outdated trends are the kind of things that I recommend new designers or people getting interested in UX are aware of. If you want to know more, check out this video here where I talk about UX terms that I think are really important as you're getting started in UX, and I'll see you over there.